Today, I had kind of a weird personal challenge I gave myself. I wanted to take the worst two-class multi-class I could think of and try and make a build around it. Now, I'm curious what you guys would vote as the worst two-class multi-class would be. And if there's enough of a vote for one that I didn't do, I might consider doing it as well. Now, my choice for the worst two-class multi-class was Paladin mixed with Monk. Now, there are three key reasons this is a terrible multi-class. Reason number one is we need at least a 13 in Dex, Strength, Charisma, and Wisdom before we're able to do this build, and on top of that, we're going to need some decent Constitution, presumably. So it's very mad. It's very multi-ability dependent. Next problem is that they're both resource-based classes, meaning that the Monk needs key points to do its thing, and the Paladin needs spell slots to do its thing. And by splitting it up, we're just making them do their thing worse. Next is that the Paladin is wanting to be heavy armor and strength based, and the Monk is wanting to be unarmored and dex based. So no matter what kind of build you do, you are going to be sacrificing a big chunk of the other class's potential. So we're not getting synergistic here. We are basically... it's rough. Let's just put it that way. It's rough that everything we do that makes the Paladin side a little bit better, it makes the Monk side a little bit worse. And so no matter what you do, sacrifices have to be made. Now, with all that being said, how did I do this? How did we put this together? Well, first and foremost, I think this is the most viable a human, just a straight human, not variant human, has ever been. Those +1s across the board are huge. Without the human, if we were to put 13 in all those stats, we'd have like 7 points remaining to go around to the rest of our stats. With the human, we end up with a much more reasonable line of stats because we only have to put 12 in, and then the +1 gets us to 13. So here's how I did the stats. I did +1 to everything, and then put 15 in strength for a total of 16, total of 13 dex, total of 14 constitution, 9 intelligence, 13 wisdom, and 14 charisma. So all things considered, that's a fairly good stat array for what we were working with. Now, how I'm going to do this is I'm going to start out in Paladin. This is a have to start out in Paladin because we're going to go the heavy armor route. And in order to get heavy armor, you need to go Paladin. So we get proficiency in heavy armor, we're going to carry our biggest, heaviest armor, we're going to carry a shield, and we're going to carry a sword. So that's Paladin 1. Next up is Monk, and we're going to go Monk 3. We're going to take Way of the Long Death, and Monk 3 gives us a couple different things. It gives us 3 either flurry strikes, which we can still use. Even if we have a sword and a shield, we can still kick people. Now, if we set up a situation where we have advantage by doing those extra attacks, it's really crit fishing because we get 4 attacks. Let's say we have extra attack at this point, so we get 4 attacks. That's more than what a paladin can normally get. We can normally only get to 3 tops, maybe even only 2. And if we have that extra dice roll, if we have advantage, it might be worth spending the key point to try and fish for a big smite. Now, on the times we don't have advantage, it's going to probably be better to use as our dash, disengage, or dodge, step of the wind key point. We can also catch arrows, so we can deflect missiles. That's something else we can do with the Monk. Now, what we can't do is take advantage of our martial arts stuff. So our punches, even though we get them, are going to be our strength modifier, and they're not going to be the D4, they're not going to be Monk weapons. They're just going to be 1 plus strength modifier. So it's really important that we have our strength modifier up. And I would say one of the best things about this character is the imagery of smite kicking someone in the face in heavy armor. Like, you're such a sweet martial artist, you're somehow doing a roundhouse kick and plate mail, and yet it glows with holy divine fury and blows someone's head off. I think it's awesome imagery, and one of the only things going for this build. Now, the reason Way of the Long Death is nice is that it doesn't require any key expenditure for us, and it kind of supports what we're already doing. We're wanting to kill things, so we're a striker, but we're kind of a tanky striker because we get our heavy armor, we get our shield, and now we get extra temporary HP whenever we kill someone. So we get lucky and we get one of those awesome smites off, we're definitely getting the kill, and now we get some temporary HP to continue our onslaught. So it just helps us continue our aggression. After that, we're going the rest in Paladin. I'm going to take Vengeance Paladin because Vengeance Paladin can set up future Flurry of Blows attacks. So if we have a boss, we set up our Vengeance Channel Divinity, and then for the next turns, we can be doing Flurry of Blows to try and get as many of those crit smites out as possible. So what we end up with this really weird build is a striker tanky boy. Are there better striker tanky boys in this game? Well, you bet your ass, but working with what we got, I think this is a really good way to do it. But what I would like to know is how you would do it. How would you take this multi-class and try and make it as good as possible? See if you can beat this bench line that I've set. I'd love to see it. We are D&D Daily. We release new D&D content every single day, so if that's interesting to you, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.